Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. I hope you're doing well. It's Monday, October 25th. Hope you had a great weekend. In today's video, I'm going to answer the questions: will a deal be reached this week on the social budget reconciliation package? Biden is hoping to get a deal done this week. I'll talk about whether I think that's likely or not. And for everyone awaiting EIDL funding, I will give an update, a walkthrough of the cash flow calculator, how to exactly check whatever situation you're in, if you should be approved for an EIDL loan or not. I will point out the specific fields on your tax return that often map to the calculator. I'll keep it short today. Stay tuned until the end. Plus, this breaking news today: Tesla surpasses $1 trillion in market value as Hertz orders 100,000 vehicles. Big deal today if you have any Tesla stock. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please do us a huge favor. If you like our research that our entire team does, give this video a like so others see it. Consider subscribing, turning on the alerts, joining our community. And if you haven't yet, you can always download our free app in the App Store and Google Play. Just search Hello Skip. Join the hundreds of thousands of folks using our app and our website. Okay, Democrats negotiate tax healthcare provisions as Biden seeks a deal this week. There's a reason for this. Like anything in life, there's always a forcing function, whether real or perceived, that is the impetus for something to happen. In many cases with this legislation, it's often fake deadlines. Whatever side you're on, Democrat or Republican, there's often the, before the summer recess, before this funding deadline, before this budget deadline. And now it's before Biden goes to Ireland for the Glasgow Climate Summit, where he wants to win support for the separate infrastructure package. So that's the reason why there's scrambling taking place this week, and why news media, and I guess I'm projecting the news media as well, is covering it this week. Here it is. Democrats are sprinting. They're sprinting now, not jogging, to wrap up negotiations over their social spending and climate bill, hoping by this weekend to resolve disagreements on issues including tax policy and healthcare. Those are two of the main sticking points I mentioned last week. Tax policy, namely the new shift to tax billionaires. There's less than 1,000 billionaires in the US, but part of this would be, we're going to fund this by taxing billionaires. The flip side will say, you're still ignoring all of the hidden costs. Even if you get something approved now and it renews in 5 years, that means the US as a whole is committing to programs that will have to continually fund. So that's the counter argument that also takes place. The other pieces that may be cut, maybe not: Medicare and Medicaid expansion. There's still discussion there, as well as the paid leave program. It was going to be 12 weeks, but in the latest proposal, it was going to go back to 4 weeks for Medicare and Medicaid instead of expanding benefits. There was talk about having a one-time stipend, I think $800 they give to someone, and you can use it for dental, vision, whatever you want. So White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre said today, quote, "We're continuing to negotiate. We're almost there." So of course, that quote could be anyone. We've heard that from everyone, whether it's Pelosi or Schumer, McConnell or Biden. You know, there's always been points in time where they say, we're almost there. We're continuing to negotiate. I understand it because, of course, they know these are getting picked up in the media, and the perception they want to be clear is that there is momentum and a deal is close. The other reason for the pressure this week is because there's existing transportation programs set to lapse on October 31st. That's the end of the week. Democrats want to pass the infrastructure package this week in order to authorize new funding that will lapse on October 31st. That's the one. And of course, the prelude to that is agreeing on the social policy package. Here's what came out today, actually. Democrats say there's a possibility that paid leave will even cease to exist. I just mentioned that they've reduced it from 12 weeks to 4 weeks, but now there's talk about cutting that 4 weeks out as well. Now we can ask ourselves, what does Joe Manchin think? Because him and Kristen Sinema are the ones that are really holding this up, forcing these decisions to be made. He still had concerns about two of the legislation's biggest healthcare provisions: expanding Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision care, and filling a gap in healthcare coverage in states that haven't expanded Medicaid. Manchin's point is this: expanding Medicare would put too much pressure on the program's finances, highlighted here. You've got to stabilize that first before you look at basically expansion. Medicare already has existing problems. His point, why are we talking about expanding it before we've even figured out how to stabilize it? Now, before I switch gears to EIDL, the big tax piece here, how's this bill going to be paid for? The latest is taxing billionaires. According to the Wall Street Journal here, Manchin said today he could support this new tax proposal, the tax on billionaires' assets and a minimum corporate tax. His quote is, "I support basically everyone paying their fair share of taxes." Of course, anyone can say that and agree with that. It makes sense. How you get to it, we all have different approach. to that as far as taxation. So it's a question how to get to that fair share of taxes. The devil is in the details. And even a lot of these articles that come out, none of these articles can really get into the details, the specifics. But as we know, with so many of these programs, let's take the SBA EIDL Targeted Grant Program. So much comes down to a few words here, a few words there. These are massive 100-page bills that get passed, and a few words in the legislation that say must be located in a low-income community versus must be located in a low-income community or at the discretion of the SBA or some other variable that would give power to the SBA to create policies that they thought were fair and equitable to help small business owners. So it's an example here. They're spending extra time talking through these details, which I think is a good thing. Otherwise, you have trillions of dollars being spent willy-nilly. Many of you argue that it's too much money to be spending in the first place, but a lot of these programs are important. The question is to what size, to what extent. Okay, switching gears to SBA EIDL land, we are still hearing of lots of approvals on increases, but many more of you waiting. You're either getting denied or you've already applied for reconsideration and you're still waiting. So the important update is 10 days ago, we put up an EIDL cash flow calculator. You can get to it on your dashboard here. You can fill it out and then see, for illustrational purposes only, if an SBA loan officer may look favorably on your ability to repay or not. This is basically the same formula SBA loan officers are using. Now, we unpacked it a bit more in case you're still curious. Anyone can check this, whether you've been approved or not, to understand your cash flow analysis as it relates to EIDL loans. So we've done a run through on our blog. I will link to this below. That's how to use the EIDL cash flow analysis calculator. So you potentially see a screen that says should be eligible for EIDL loan request or not. And we go over how to find your 2019 net income, depending on if you're Schedule C, Form 1120, Form 1120S, or Form 1065. We do the same for the depreciation and interest, what forms these may be on. The disclaimer, again, all of this is for illustrational purposes only. Your numbers may differ. You should consult with your accountant for your specific situation. But if you want to plug in numbers to the cash flow analysis, here's how to do it. Even for your annual business debt service, you basically reference your schedule of liabilities, add all your monthly payments up on the sheet and multiply by 12. For your outside income and personal debt service, that's from your personal financial statement. Basically, for the outside income, check your source of income, and for your personal debt service, reference your liability section on that form. Finally, how to add in your EIDL loan amount request. You should put in your total EIDL loan you are requesting in the last field here before calculating. So if you're requesting $1 million and have already received $500,000, you should put in $1 million. So put in whatever total amount you're requesting. It's the same you do on the SBA portal as well. And of course, if you have questions on all this, you want to talk through it, we don't answer your questions here. You can book one-on-one support. We have spots Wednesday and Thursday this week. Go to EIDL.me to book a time to talk with us and to get ongoing funding support. Still very important, around 70 days left in the year to really nail this and think about other funding as you prepare for 2022. Finally, to end today on the big stock news, Tesla surpasses $1 trillion in market value. That's a huge deal. They became the latest U.S. company to cross the $1 trillion milestone as the stock price has more than doubled in the past year on surging sales and rising profit. What catapulted that today was the news that Hertz Global Holdings has ordered 100,000 vehicles from Tesla to stock its rental car fleet. So you'll be able to rent a Tesla in the future from Hertz, a major bulk purchase that could help the car company get more of its cars into the hands of mainstream consumers. I think that is a huge move because people who haven't been exposed to Teslas, I've never been in or driven a Tesla, moves like this will basically increase exposure and access of Teslas for more and more people. Tesla stock hit a high of $998 per share. Would love to hear what you think about that news. Most importantly, the question, do I think this bill will get passed this week? I think we're close if I had to bet. Again, I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but I do think there are a few different factors in place now. And Joe Manchin is close to reaching an agreement on the Medicare piece. I think that's one of the last main sticking points, the healthcare and the paid family leave. We'll keep you posted there. Hit subscribe to stay up to date on this bill. It's a major bill, not only this, but the infrastructure bill. You've all been patiently waiting for results. So hopefully we are nearing the finish line. If you want one-on-one help, link in the description, especially for those EIDL loan increases or reconsiderations. Most importantly, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow.